Illinois may soon get a new flag, and you could be the one to design it. That's because the Secretary of State's office recently opened the new flag design submission portal. It's for anyone to send in their ideas to the new flag commission. The portal is open through October 18th, and that's where people can submit their proposals on the Secretary of State's website or even mail them to the commission in Springfield.
History is living, breathing, and ever evolving, and I think that we need to ensure that government is also evolving with the times so people are engaged and feel like they're a part of what's going on across the state.
Now, commissioners will narrow the submissions to 10 finalists. People can then vote on their favorites or to keep the current state flag.